tonight. The Hartford Hurricanes have won 26 straight. They've won 4 straight Division 1A state titles, but it's a new era now. It's a new era of Rutland High football and a new era of Hartford Hurricane football as well. Vince?
Well, it's a big game for both squads coming in. Of course, you want to always open the season and any season on a positive note. First of all, let's take a look at the visiting Hurricanes from Hartford. As you pointed on in the pregame show, Jack, enjoying 4 consecutive Division 1A state championship titles, and a big move for them to come up to the Division 1 level. Of course, we know that they can compete. They've had a tremendous amount of success on that level in the past, and that should make them definitely a worthwhile opponent for the Rutland Raiders this evening. Looking at the Raiders side, of course, a lot of firsts and new eras are going to take place tonight. First of all, it'll be the first game played here at the brand new high school, which opens officially Tuesday morning. Of course, Coach Mike Norman, his first game, so he obviously has some jitters, and he pointed that out during the interview that you had with him earlier on in the week. So I think it's a great opportunity for Rutland to show what they've got coming in this year. As you said, a relatively inexperienced ball club, but nonetheless, they still have a lot of talent.
The Raiders have won the toss, but they deferred the choice to the second half, so Hartford will be receiving going left to right as we look out here in the first quarter. The Raiders kicking off going right to left. And looking at the Hartford Hurricanes offensively, Jason Gardner will be starting at split end. The tight end is Courtney Crump. At the tackles, Seamus Morrissey and Phil Guerin. Nathan Eisner and Dana Clay at the guards. The center is Tom Rice. Starting at quarterback, Ryan McCarthy, 6'1", 170-pound junior. Starting at fullback, Randy St. Peter, 6', 205-pound junior. Prashawn Patkull, a tailback, 5'8", 160-pound senior. And starting at flanker, wingback, Ethan Hill, a 5'7", 150-pound sophomore. For Rutland High offensively at the end.
Starting at tackle, a senior, 6'1", number 70, Frank Parisi. Starting at guard, a senior, 190 pounds, number 56, Gary Colty. Starting at the other guard, a senior, number 55, Stephen Pryor. At the other offensive tackle, a junior, 245 pounds, number 54, Greg Berjiglian. At center, a senior, weighing 205, number 51, a captain, Mark Barassa. At wingback, a junior, 160 pounds, number 46, Mike Stempak. Starting at tailback, a senior, a captain, number 24, Frank Vaccaro. At fullback, a senior, 165 pounds, number 23, Jeff McFerrin. At split end, a senior, 165 pounds, number 20, Ryan McGuire. At tailback, number 3, a senior, Brent Bliss. And quarterbacking tonight for this year's Rutland High School Red Raiders, 180-pound senior, number 8, Captain Brian Penny.
Okay, I think we cleared it up just a bit, didn't we? Yeah, all right. The Hartford Hurricanes will be receiving, defending the goal off to our left as we look out. Rutland High will be kicking off, defending the goal off to our right as we look out. As a back deep for the Hurricanes, Jason Hill is back deep, and also back deep is Jason Gardner. So a couple of Jasons, Jason Hill and Jason Gardner for the Hartford Hurricanes. I don't believe there really is much of a win factor tonight. The Raiders went on the defense as they deferred the choice to the second half. As we mentioned, to kind of get those early jitters out, and that's how you do it as far as playing on on the defense is concerned, it's a lot easier to make the hit, I think, than to have the football. But we'll see what happens here, as Jake Conway will be doing the booting for Rutland High.
Well, not only does that give Rutland the opportunity to set the tone defensively here to start the football game, it also gives them an opportunity to receive the kickoff to start the second half.
So we'll see what happens here as Jake Conway be booting to either Jason Hill or Jason Gardner back deep. And the 1994 high school football season will be underway momentarily here on WSYB and WTSL. And this will come to the 20-yard line, getting across the 25 and out across the 30-yard line, and stopped right there on the return is Jason Hill. As a matter of fact, they're going to mark it at the 30-yard line, so that's where Hartford will put the ball into play. 1st and 10 at its own 30-yard line is Dana Atwood getting down there to make the tackle for Rutland High. So 1st and 10 for the Hartford Hurricanes. Tom Rice is the center. Ryan McCarthy, the quarterback, 6'1", 170-pound junior. They got a man wide right. It is Gardner as they mark it at the left side hash mark. And a couple of setbacks and a wing on the left. And we got a penalty marker right off the bat here. And we'll see what this is all about. Maybe encroachment, as it generally is, lining up in the neutral zone. One team or the other. It is offside Hartford. So it'll be 1st down and 15 for the Hurricanes back at their own 25-yard line. So we'll wait here. The first play from scrimmage, 1st and 10 for the Hartford Hurricanes at their, or 1st and 15 make it for the Hurricanes at their own 25 after the encroachment penalty. As Gardner comes wide right, and the handoff goes straight ahead to Randy St. Peter. Got a couple out to about the 27-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 13. Greg Birajikli in there on the stop for Rutland High.
Well, Birajikli is a player they're going to look to for a lot of in-the-trench work this year for the Rutland Raiders. He played JV a year ago. He's a junior this year. He's got tremendous size and quickness at the tackle spot on defense, and he was involved solo tackle on the first tackle of the year for the Rutland Raiders.
So it's 2nd down, about 13 for the Hurricanes. The ball marked to the Hurricane 27. McCarthy looking to throw, and he throws it right, and a sliding catch by Gardner up around the 37-yard line. It picked up close to 10 yards. Jason Gardner on the catch. Nice throw by Ryan McCarthy. Stempeck on the tackle. Picked up about 10. It'll still be shy of 1st down yardage for the Hurricanes. They'll have a 3rd down and about 3 at their own 37-yard line.
Well, that was a slant pattern right through the middle by Gardner, and Stempeck was giving up about 10 yards on the play, and the pass was completed, and Stempeck was there on the coverage, but he has to tighten that coverage up just a little more.
So a 3rd down play for McCarthy and company. This time St. Peter off right tackle, and he's dropped after picking up a couple to about the 39-yard line. And Brett Bliss coming up to make the hit. It appears to be shy of 1st down yardage. 4th down, less than a yard for the Hurricanes at their own 39-yard line. Well, the original line of scrimmage was the 30, and then the 5-yard penalty, and they had to get to the 40, and the ball marked just shy of the 40-yard line. So the Hurricanes undoubtedly will boot the football away, or are they going to go for it early? Well, they're lined up. McCarthy lined up, and he goes straight ahead on the keeper and picks up about 5 out to about the 44-yard line.
Excellent job on the offensive line.
On 4th down.
Great job of following his huge offensive line that time. McCarthy just forged ahead for about 5 yards. Plenty of yardage for the 1st down that time, and I don't think Rutland was expecting that. I think even up here in the booth, Jack, we were expecting some sort of trick play, but no trick to that one. A quarterback keeper and 1st down for the Hurricanes.
Ben Anderson on the tackle. 1st and 10 for the Hurricanes, their own 44. St. Peter on the carry. Takes it straight ahead, skips across the 45, out to about the 47. Pickup of 3, close to 4 yards on the play. And Greg Birajikli in there to make the hit. Hartford receiving the opening kickoff. They went for it on 4th down. The keeper by McCarthy, and now Hartford has its 2nd down and about 7 at its own 47-yard line. Hurricanes going left to right here in the first quarter. No score, 9:19 remaining in the first quarter. Is taking it left is Jason Hill, and he swept it left against the grain across the 50 to the 49. Ben Anderson on the hit. Nice up about 4.
Nice job of pulling by the down lineman. Clay and Eisner for Hartford pulled from their right tackle position all the way to the left side, creating a huge hole. And fortunately for the Raiders, Ben Anderson did a nice job standing his blocker up, pushed him to the side, and made the solo tackle after a gain of a few on the play.
Third down about 3 for the Hurricanes. They have it in Raider territory at the Raider 49-yard line. They mark it near the left side hash mark. And wide right it is Jason Gardner. McCarthy on the handoff straight ahead and getting a couple of tough yards down to about the 46 before he's finally stacked up on the play with St. Peter. He picked up 3. That's all he needed. That's a first down. Mark Barassa on the tackle for Rutland High. As into the football game for Hartford now comes Jesse Kells. So Jesse Kells getting some action. First and 10, Hartford. It's second first down of this opening series of the season at the Raider 46. Here's Patkull, sweeps it right, and it's a couple down to the Raider 43, stacked up there. And leading the way, Mark Barassa had a little bit of help there, as also Jacob Conway was there on the hit. It'll be second and 8 for the Hurricanes down at the Raider 43-yard line.
Well, make no mistake about it, Coach Stone from Hartford has his game plan in line and working effectively on this opening drive, and that's to take advantage of his huge Dallas Cowboy-like offensive line to control the line of scrimmage, and that certainly could be a problem for the Raiders as this game wears on.
McCarthy barks him out, and the handoff goes straight ahead and getting his way inside the 40 down to about the 38-yard line. On the carry again is Randy St. Peter, 6', 205-pound junior again. Barassa on the tackle for Rutland High. 7:28 remaining first quarter. Hartford's picked up a couple of first downs.
Well, what's happening here early in the game, Jack, is that Hartford is dominating the line of scrimmage. On a couple occasions, Barassa and Barajiklian have managed to get through the line of scrimmage and disrupt things, but the last few plays has been complete dominance by the Hartford linemen.
And in motion it is Hill, third down and 3 for the Hurricanes at the 38, and off to St. Peter inside the 35 down to about the 32-yard line. It picked up 6, and that's another Hartford first down. First and 10 for the Hurricanes. They're on the move here. Mike Stempick on the tackle for Rutland High. So the Hurricanes picking up their third first down, including that quarterback keeper by Ryan McCarthy. First and 10 Hurricanes, the Raider 32-yard line.
Well, what this is going to do as the game wears on is open up that passing game. The Rutland defenders are already starting to cheat in towards the line of scrimmage. The receivers are going to be open later on.
Get a man in motion. It is Hill. McCarthy pitches it back, and Gardner on the carry as he sweeps it left. And he picks up yardage down to about the 29-yard line. Dana Atwood on the tackle picked up a couple. It'll be second down and 8 for the Hurricanes at the Raider 29.
Well, Atwood again involved in the tackle. Of course, he was the solo tackler involved on the kickoff to open this game, and he did a nice job coming from his position in the free safety zone to make the stop pretty much by himself. A nice open field tackle that time, and saved what could have been good yardage on the far sideline for Hartford.
So the Hurricanes have it second down and 8. They have it at the Raider 28-yard line. That's where they're going to mark it, at the Raider 28. Here's the pitch back to Gardner, sweeps it right, and there to grab him. There's a lost yardage back to about the 33. Brent Bliss on the tackle. And lost 4, maybe 5 yards. Brent Bliss there on the tackle as he got back to grab the ball carrier, Jason Gardner.
Well, one thing that's impressing me so far defensively for the Raiders is they are doing a nice job of tackling. There's no question that there's no breaking tackles early in this first drive. However, they need to put more pressure on in the backfield, as did Bliss on that particular play.
So it'll be third down and about 11 for the Hurricanes. And they're going to have it at the Raider 33-yard line. And the Raiders calling for the timeout here with 5:22 remaining in the first quarter of play. The Hurricanes picking up 3 first downs, and we'll keep it right here. No score with that time left, 5:22 remaining in the first quarter.
Well, the 12th play of the drive for the Hartford Hurricanes, and that big defensive play that time by Brent Bliss coming from his linebacker position, throwing him for a loss of 5. 5:22 remaining in the opening quarter, and Hartford taking it all the way from their own 35 to open this football game. As Jack pointed out, sprinkle in a few first downs. A penalty on the first play from scrimmage against Hartford backed them up 5 yards, but nonetheless they've been moving the ball pretty much at will against this young Rutland defense. And although the yardage is being obtained by the Hartford Hurricanes, the Raiders continue to do an excellent job of tackling, and once they make contact with the Hartford ball carrier, that's pretty much the end of that run. And that's a good sign early on in the season for Coach Mike Norman in his first season as head coach of Rutland, is the fact that his defense is tackling very well in the open field.
So it'll be 3rd down and 11 for the Hartford Hurricanes. The ball marked at the Raider 32-yard line. Ethan Hill is in motion, right to left, back to throw. McCarthy throws left, and it is complete to Hill, and he makes a great diving catch down at right around the Raider 15-yard line. Ethan Hill on the reception.
Big pickup that time for Hartford. Without question, that play was set up by their ability to run the football early in this football game. Most of the Rutland defense bit on that fake right up the middle, and that left him wide open along the far sideline. And Ethan Hill had to adjust just a little bit, pick the ball up, made a diving catch along the sidelines, and now Hartford's in business deep into Rutland territory.
It was a pickup of 17 yards. Ethan Hill on the pass reception from Ryan McCarthy. 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line, but nothing doing on this handoff to Jason Hill as it got back virtually to the line of scrimmage. Leonard Downey there on the stop for Rutland High. It picked up maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Hurricanes at the Raider 14-yard line as the Hurricanes have moved right up the field, including a big 4th down play by the quarterback Ryan McCarthy that picked up a Hartford first down in their own territory. They picked up a couple of first downs since. 4:24 remaining here in the first quarter. No score. 2nd and 9 for the Hurricanes at the Raider 14-yard line. A couple of setbacks, and now wide right is Jason Gardner. Ethan Hill is in motion. Right to left. McCarthy inside handoff. And taking his way inside the 10 down to about the 9-yard line is Jason Hill. And picked up about 5. A host of Raiders there to drop him. They're going to mark it at the 9-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a long 3 for the Hurricanes at that point, the Raider 9.
Well, big defensive play here for the Raiders. If they can stop this drive short on a 3rd and about 3 or 4, call it, and come out of here with just a field goal, that'll be a victory for the Rutland defense.
Hatkel is a slot left. Jesse Kells is in wide left. McCarthy on the handoff on the right side, and taking it inside the 5 into the end zone for the touchdown is Randy St. Peter, and Hartford draws first blood. A 9-yard touchdown run by Randy St. Peter, and that was a very impressive opening drive by the Hartford Hurricanes. A 9-yard touchdown run by Randy St. Peter. Took the handoff from McCarthy, took it right, and scooted into the end zone. And it's 6-0 Hartford.
On the 17th play of this opening drive, 65 yards were accomplished by the Hartford offense, and you're right, Jack, very impressive. They sprinkled in a few pass completions, and they're going for 2.
Hartford going for 2. St. Peter on the handoff from McCarthy, and he squeezes up the middle and in for the 2-point conversion. It's 8-0 Hartford. So St. Peter on the 9-yard touchdown run. And also St. Peter on the 2-point conversion, and the Hurricanes lead it by a score of 8-0 over Rutland High with 3:30 remaining first quarter. And we'll be back with a kickoff after this 30. Okay, we're back at Rutland High's Alumni Field. A very impressive drive by the Hurricanes. A 9-yard touchdown run by Randy St. Peter, and then a 2-point conversion run by St. Peter. And the Hurricanes with that 8-0 lead. We'll see what the Raiders can do here, coming back the other way.
Well, whoever's got St. Peter on their rotisserie team certainly has to enjoy that opening drive. But no question, that's something that's going to be troubling the Rutland Raider defense as this season wears on, is their ability to stop the run. And as you know, in football, that leads to being a great defensive team against the run and the pass, is the ability to stop the run. And they showed some vulnerability on that particular drive. They made some nice plays. Their tackling was solid, but they need to toughen it up a little bit on the line of scrimmage if in order for them to be okay.
Doing the booting for the Hurricanes will be Jason Gardner. Back deep. Vaccaro and McIntyre for the Raiders, and this will be a line drive kick, and it hits inside the 20 and then rolls out of bounds. And this will be a penalty on the kickoff going out of bounds against the Hurricanes. And remember, the Hurricanes got the ball at their own 30-yard line, had the 5-yard penalty, and again, in that drive, that big fourth down quarterback keeper by McCarthy, it was 4th and 1, or 4th and a long one, and he generally, you're conservative on that type of a play, especially in the opening series of the season, but McCarthy got the first down, and of course Hartford picking up a few more en route to the touchdown, and Hartford with an 8-0 lead here.
Well, the big play on that drive was a 17-yard completion to Ethan Hill along the far sideline. That certainly shows the offensive firepower that this Hartford Hurricane team possesses. But again, you really have to touch on their ability to run the football straight up the middle against the Rutland defense. And Rutland really could do nothing to stop it. And that 17-yard pass, I really believe, was a result of their ability to run the football.
So it'll be a kick from the 35-yard line after the 5-yard penalty, and Jason Gardner will try it again here. And this time the kick will go to Vaccaro at his own 22-yard line. Across the 25, takes it right, avoids one man, and squeezes his way out to about the 29-yard line before he's dropped. So the Raiders go on the offense for the first time. Larry Lebrecht getting down there to make the hit for the Hartford Hurricanes.
Well, for the first time in 1994, we get to see the Rutland offense under quarterback Brian Pinney. Of course, big shoes to fill, left by the graduating Jimmy Anagnos. Of course, same number 8. That's familiar to Rutland football fans. And Brian Pinney certainly quite capable of filling those shoes admirably for the Rutland Raiders on offense.
So Brian Pinney, 6-foot, 180-pound senior. McFerrin and Vaccaro the setbacks, a wing left. 1st and 10 for the Raiders, their own 29, and the Hartford Hurricanes have jumped offside, I believe. So the Raiders will have it 1st and 5 up at their own 34-yard line. So the Hurricanes, who were offside on the first offensive series for them, now offside on the first defensive series for them, and it's 1st and 5 for the Raiders at their own 34-yard line. Going right to left here, it's 8-0 Hartford with 3:05 remaining in the first quarter here at Rutland High's Alumni Field. Raiders got a man wide right as Brian Pinney, the senior quarterback, barks him out. Couple of setbacks and a wing left now. The wing is Mike Stempeck. He's in motion. Handoff straight ahead. Vaccaro opening 45-50, 45-40, 35-30, 25-20. Frankie Vaccaro is going to go all the way for the touchdown. Frankie Vaccaro. It's 8-6 Hartford.
No flags on the play, and you really have to question going back to the kickoff that Hartford had kicking the ball to Vaccaro. We know that he's capable of doing that at any particular time in his football game. An outstanding job of blocking along the line of scrimmage along the right side by the Rutland offensive line, and Vaccaro was virtually untouched. The only time he was touched on that play was when Mr. Pinney handed him the football, and that was it. Untouched all the way down the sideline. A big offensive spark plug, and we'll probably see that more than several occasions this year for the Rutland Raiders, and that's Frankie Vaccaro with a huge gain and a touchdown.
66-yard touchdown run for Frankie Vaccaro, the Raiders' first play from scrimmage in 1994. The first play from scrimmage under new head coach Mike Norman. It's 8-6 Hartford. That coming with 2:36 remaining in the first quarter, and the Raiders will go for 2. Pinney now on the inside handoff to Vaccaro. Same play. This time he's stacked up. So the try for the extra points, no good as the Raiders try to tie it up. And he was stopped there, I believe, by John Barner. So the try for the extra points, no good. It's Hartford 8, Raiders 6, 2:36 remaining first quarter. We'll be back for the kickoff. Allo at Rutland's Alumni Field. The Hartford Hurricanes, a long drive for their touchdown. The Raiders get it back, almost all back in one shot on that 66-yard touchdown run by Frankie Vaccaro. The try for the extra points, no good. That's the difference as Hartford converted after its touchdown. St. Peter a 9-yard touchdown run. St. Peter in the 2-point conversion. It's 8-6 Hartford with 2:36 remaining here in the first quarter. Jason Hill is back deep. And here's the Downey boot. And And Jason Hill watches it go right by him. Gardner also back deep, but Hill picks it up at the 14, retreats, looking for room across the 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, down the sideline, 45, 40, and he is going to go all the way for the touchdown. Jason Hill, and Hartford gets it right back. It's 14-6 Hurricanes. Now watched it bounce behind him. He picked it up at the 14-yard line, took it left, went right up the sideline, and he was off to the races. Jason Hill on the touchdown on the kickoff return.
The way that play started, Jack, he lost the football, let it go behind him, and when he picked it up, there was a sea of red surrounding, and I'm saying to myself, he'll be lucky to gain 5 yards on this. He started to the right side, went back to the left, and the only person that had a shot at him was number 21, Dana Atwood. He picked him up at about the 30-yard line, but he was already gone at that point.
That's an 86-yard kickoff return for the touchdown for Jason Hill. As the handoff goes to St. Peter's, Hartford goes for 2, took it off right tackle. He stacked up there. The try for the extra points, no good. So with 2:20 remaining in the first quarter, Hartford gets it back. An 86-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Jason Hill. Again, the try for the extra points, no good. And it's 14-6 Hartford. We'll be back with a kickoff after this 30-second timeout.
9.
Jack Healey back with Vince Allo. With 2:20 remaining here in the first quarter, it's 14-6 Hartford, and we've had some electrifying plays so far. 66-yard touchdown run by the Raiders. Frankie Vaccaro on their first play from scrimmage. On the ensuing kickoff, Jason Hill, actually the kickoff bounced by him. He had to pick it up at the 14. He had to retreat, and he took it all the way up the left sideline.
Well, 2 plays, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns in about 10 seconds. We've seen 2 huge offensive plays by both ball clubs this time, and actually we have yet to see the Hartford defense for any longer than 2 plays. Of course, the first play on their first defense, there was a penalty. The second play, Vaccaro's gone for a touchdown, 66 yards. Rutland kicks off, and they answer with Jason Hill, 87 yards, virtually untouched along the far sideline. And I tell you, this pace keeps up, Jack. We're in for a dandy tonight.
Jason Gardner on the kickoff for the Hurricanes. They shift left to right. It's McIntyre and Vaccaro back deep for the Raiders. Line drive, boot, and it's off the hands of Vaccaro. Picks it up at the 19 as he retreats back to the 15, and he's dropped at the 15-yard line. First and 10, Raiders at their own 15 as Ryan Camber getting back to make the stop for Hartford.
Vaccaro on the return for the Raiders.
So the Raiders take over on their own 15-yard line now. Offensively, let's see if they can get something established. Of course, we'd love to see them score on every possession like that in one play. But equally as important, it's important for them to establish some ball control to see how they can react against this Hartford defense who we have yet to see perform tonight.
The Raiders are going to have it at the 16. That's where they're going to mark it. First and 10, Rutland. 2:10 remaining first quarter. 14-6 Hartford. Finney, the quarterback, gives it to the first man through, and nothing doing. Jeff McFerrin is stacked up as he took it straight ahead. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Shannon Babos on the stop there for Hartford.
Stop for no gain by Shannon Babos. Second and 10 for the...
It's either Babos or Babos. Hopefully I'm getting the correct pronunciation on that. At any rate, back to the line of scrimmage it goes. Second and 10 for the Raiders at their own 16-yard line. The Hartford Hurricanes 14 and Rutland High 6. The Raiders got a man wide right. Vaccaro and McFerrin are the setbacks. We got some movement on the Raider offensive line. It's going to be a motion penalty against the Raiders' Frank Parisi on the right side, and isn't that always the case? The tackle moves and gets his name mentioned. It's a 5-yard penalty against the Raiders for illegal procedure. They're going to mark it back to the 11-yard line.
Well, certainly Parisi whistled for the penalty that time, but give him a ton of credit. When Rutland scored their touchdown by Frankie Vaccaro, he cleared out a huge hole along that right side that allowed Vaccaro to score from 66 yards, so he does deserve a lot of credit on that play.
Second and 15 for the Raiders, their own 11-yard line. A couple of setbacks again behind Finney. Stempak, the wing back on the left side, in motion left to right as Finney barks him out. Finney play action, looks to throw, rolls right, throws downfield. It goes incomplete. He overthrows Brent Bliss up around the Raider 30-yard line as he tried to throw it down the middle.
Play set up nicely by Penny on the play action, rolled to his right, had a couple people open downfield. Stempeck was open in the slot position, and Penny just overthrew him. But look to see a lot of that this year by Brian Penny, the new quarterback for Rutland.
So the pass went incomplete, 3rd and 15 for the Raiders at their own 11-yard line. We have 1:03 remaining here in the first quarter. The Hartford Hurricanes lead it by a score of 14-6. Got the 2 points after their touchdown. The Raiders did not, and then Hartford came up shy on the 2-point attempt after their second touchdown. Again, McFerrin and Vaccaro with the setbacks behind Finney. Setback is a wing left. He's in motion left to right now as Finney barks him out. And is this too much time? We got whistles. And let's see what this is all about. It's against the Raiders. Did they take too much time?
I believe so.
And they're going to mark it back now to the 6-yard line.
Second penalty on this drive for the Raiders.
Raiders will have it 3rd and 20 at their own 6. 1:03 remaining first quarter. Looks like a huge crowd here for the opening night of the season. Night football back at Alumni Field.
Well, you expect to see a couple offensive penalties early on in the football game to start the season. You're right, the jitters are there, and they're going to make a few mental mistakes and hopefully get those ironed out as the season wears on.
3rd and long for Finney and company. Finney on the handoff to Vaccaro, sweeps it left, gets pretty good yardage as he gets it out across the 10-yard line to about the 12, picked up 6, but far shy of first down yardage. Seamus Morrissey on the hit for the Hartford Hurricanes. So the Raiders will have it 4th down about 14, and they'll have to boot the football away with 40 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
They should be able to get this play off before the first quarter expires. Half a minute remaining, 14-6 Hartford.
McFerrin back to boot at the goal line, and back deep Pat Gould around the 50-yard line, and also back deep is Jason Gardner right around the 50 for the Hartford Hurricanes. And the snap a high one, but McFerrin gets it down and gets the boot away. It'll bounce in Raider territory, gets a good roll across the 45, rolls across the 50, and will be blown dead at the Hartford 48-yard line. So the Hurricanes go on the offense right there. 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line. Hurricanes already lead at 14-6, 8 seconds remaining first quarter. Hurricanes scoring a 9-yard touchdown run by Randy St. Peter. St. Peter took it in for the 2-point conversion to make it 8-0 Hartford. First play from scrimmage for the Raiders. Frankie Vaccaro, 66-yard touchdown run to cut the lead to 8-6. Try for the extra points, no good. The ensuing kickoff, an 86-yard kickoff return by Jason Hill to make it 14-6 Hartford. The try for the extra points, no good. That will be the end of the first quarter. Ryan McCarthy does not get the play away. So we played one here at Alumni Field, and after a quarter, it's Hartford 14 and Rutland 6 back after this 30-second timeout. Rutland, WTSL in Hanover, and the folks in the Connecticut Valley are on top so far as Hartford leads at 14-6. The Hurricanes going right to left here in the second quarter. The Raiders going left to right. The Hurricanes have it 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line.
I want to say hello to Joe Lazinski. See him walking down in front. Of course, Joe will be taking the field tomorrow. Assistant coach for MSJ. I'll be doing the game live here on WSYB. Myself and Mitch Braves, Chris Levins.
That'll be MSJ in Middlebury tomorrow afternoon, the opener for both clubs. So the Hurricanes have it 1st and 10. Ethan Hill is in motion right to left. McCarthy on the option, trying to pitch it back. Fumble! And did the Raiders recover? I believe they did at the Hartford 46-yard line. And let's see, I believe on the fumble recovery for the Raiders was Leonard Downey, 5'9", 325-pound senior, Downey on the fumble recovery.
Hard to miss Leonard Downey out there on the football field, but credit Ben Anderson with a huge hit on McCarthy, the quarterback for Hartford.
He tried to pitch it back. He never really got the pitch away. And Downey on the fumble recovery, and as you mentioned, Anderson made the play happen. So the Raiders have it in Hartford territory, 1st and 10 at the Hartford 46-yard line. The Raiders going left to right here in the second quarter. Ross is the center. He's over the football. Coming wide right is Stempeck. Couple of setbacks. Man wide left as Vaccaro and McFerrin are the setbacks behind the senior quarterback Brian Finney. McIntyre wide left. Finney back to throw. Ears it out down the left sideline. Wants McIntyre, and it's off his fingertips. Incomplete down around the Hartford 15-yard line. Finney showed a good arm there. It was Just overthrown just a bit off the fingertips of his intended receiver, Ryan McIntyre. 2nd and 10. Raiders at the Hartford 46.
Very impressed with the arm strength of Brian Penny. Equally as impressed with his footwork, fading back in the pocket like that. He got good protection up front. Most notably, number 23, Jeff McFerrin, doing an outstanding job of blocking from his tailback position. And McIntyre was wide open on the far sideline. It just couldn't gather it in as it went off his fingertips. That would have been a huge play for the Rutland offense.
McIntyre getting a breather as Brent Bliss is tied left. Couple of men wide right now for the Raiders. Tom Ferrati is in. He's wide right. They got a slot right. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. The Hartford 46. Back to throw. Penny avoids one man. Gets the pass away. Goes incomplete off the fingertips of Brent Bliss down around the Hartford 41-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 10 for the Raiders after that fumble recovery by Leonard Downey. The Raiders trying to cash in. A couple of incomplete passes by Brian Penny. So the Raiders have it 3rd and 10 at the Hartford 46.
Well, Penny was running for his life on that play right time. He tried to fool him with a fake up the middle, rolled to his left, and was met by Hartford defenders on both sides. And fortunately, he got the ball away, and Bliss just couldn't grab it in for the completion. 2 back-to-back incompletions for the Raider offense.
Tom Ferrati now is wide left, and the wing left is Stempeck. McFerrin and Vaccaro are the setbacks. Bliss tied right. Finney on the handoff to Vaccaro. Inside the 40, quick opener. 35-30, 25-20, 15-10. And he's brought down finally at the Hartford 7-yard line by Jason Gardner. As Vaccaro got the handoff, took it straight ahead. Same play as the touchdown earlier, and he almost took that one all the way. Let's see where they finally mark it. It'll be 1st and goal for the Raiders at the Hartford 6-yard line, and that is a 40-yard run by Frankie Vaccaro.
Frankie Vaccaro with a run of 66 and a run of 40. He's averaging over 50 yards a carry this evening.
That's not bad.
that's some numbers, and you just got a good look at the explosive speed that he possesses.
1st and goal, Raiders, the Hartford 6. That was a saving tackler. Vaccaro almost took it all the way. As Penny now on the handoff to McFerrin. He had to spin as he took it straight ahead. Was hit initially at the line of scrimmage. Maybe got a yard. Bill Garrett on the stop for Hartford. 2nd and goal for the Raiders at the Hartford 5-yard line. Early going, 2nd quarter. It's Hartford 14, the Raiders 6. And the Raiders knocking on the door after the fumble recovery by Leonard Downey.
Well, positive sign here for the Raiders is their ability right now to convert after a turnover. Most times or sometimes you see a team get a turnover and it's 3 plays and they're out. In this case here, Rutland, immediately after the turnover, the fumble caused by Ben Anderson, 2 incompletions, then the huge 40-yard scamper by Vaccaro. Now they're back in business deep into Hurricane territory.
Roddy in wide right, Stempeck wide left. Vaccaro and McFerrin the setbacks. The pitch to Vaccaro sweeps it right. Nothing there. No room at all. Maybe lost a yard back to the 6. Big defensive play by the Hartford Hurricanes. It looked like Randy St. Peter has got a touchdown offensively coming up with that big defensive play. It'll be 3rd and goal. Gardner was over there as well. 3rd and goal for the Raiders back at the 6-yard line. Then lost a yard. 10 minutes remaining, first half. Season opener here at Alumni Field. Rutland High and Hartford. The Hurricanes lead it by that 14-6 margin as McIntyre is back in for Rutland High. They mark it between the hash marks. Barassa, well, about ready to lead the club out of the huddle. The Raiders call for the timeout. We got a timeout on the field. We'll be back after this 30-second break. Allo at Alumni Field. The Raiders with their 2nd timeout. It's 14-6 Hartford. The Raiders have a 3rd and goal at the Hartford 6. A fumble recovered by Leonard Downey to set up this drive here by the Raiders. The big run by Frankie Vaccaro gave the Raiders a 1st down and goal at the 6. They now have a 3rd and goal at the 6.
Well, that play there was a heads-up timeout call by quarterback Brian Finney as the play clock was winding down. And if you notice, Jack, every play offensively for the Raiders comes from the bench. And Finney goes practically to the sideline, or a player comes in with the offensive play call. So that certainly was the cause of them having to take their 2nd timeout here in the first half.
McIntyre wide left. Setbacks are Vaccaro and McFerrin in motion right to left now is Stempeck. Back to throw. Penny rolls right under pressure and he throws the ball away. Goes incomplete. He had Bliss in the end zone, but he got hit as he let go and just threw it way out of bounds and incomplete. 4th and goal for the Raiders at the Hartford 6-yard line. And we'll see about the field goal possibilities here. Benny Anderson comes into the football game, and it will be Jeff McFerrin, I believe, attempting the field goal. He will mark it down, and 23-yard field goal attempt.
Heads up play that time by quarterback Penny from the Raiders. Not throwing it into danger into the end zone and not taking the sack. He threw it out of play and they got an easy field goal.
Slight angle off to the right. Ben Anderson is the holder. 23-yard field goal attempt for the Raiders. Jeff McFerrin. Anderson gets it down, and the kick is wide left. No good. But we have a penalty marker down. Wait and see here. Hold the phone. The 23-yard field goal attempt was no good by Jeff McFerrin, but there is a penalty marker down, and we'll see what this is all about. 9:49 remaining first half here at Rutland's Alumni Field. The Hartford Hurricanes 14 and Rutland 6. And they are talking to one of the Raider quad captains, Brent Bliss.
Against Hartford, they're going to mark it off. Will not give them a first down, I don't believe.
They're going to mark it down to the 3-yard line. It's half the distance to the goal line.
Penny comes back into the game. That changes things dramatically offensively. Coach Norman, quarterback, back into the football game.
It'll be 4th down and goal at the Hartford 3. Ross over the football. They're going to go for it here. Looks like a wishbone setup for the Raiders behind Brian Penny. They go for it on 4th and goal. Penny takes it himself left on the option, and he gets it in for the touchdown. So after the penalty and the missed field goal attempt by the Raiders, the penalty against Hartford half the distance to the goal line, and Brian Penny, good faking. The Raiders looked like they were in a wishbone set. Penny took it left on the option and took it in. It's 14-12 Hartford.
Give Brian Penny all the credit on that touchdown. His offensive line did a nice job of clearing. But think back to 2 plays prior to that. He was pressured in the backfield. He had an opportunity to either throw it into the defensive possession into an interception or take the sack, which would have lost 5 to 10 yards. Instead, he threw it out of bounds, gave Rutland new life, and 2 plays later, he scores, and they're in a position now to cut the lead to tie it up, actually.
Yeah, they're going for the tie here as they go for 2. Penny back to throw, throws right, and the pass is intercepted in the end zone. So the try for the point's no good. It was intercepted by Jason Gardner as Hartford hangs on to the lead. So the fumble recovery by Downey, big 40-yard run by Frankie Vaccaro give the Raiders a 1st and goal. Then the Raiders missed the field goal, but the penalty against Hartford, and Penny took it in from 3 yards out on the keeper. The try for the extra point's no good. Stempeck was the intended receiver. So it's Hartford 14 and Rutland 12. 9:44 left first half. And we'll be back with a kickoff after this 30-second timeout. Exciting ball game, 9:44 remaining in the first half. It's 14-12 Hartford. So Hartford's hung on to the lead here.
Well, I think that was a great offensive call that time by Coach Norman of Rutland. Going for the touchdown on that play that deep into Hartford territory. I think that gives his offense a lot of confidence this early in the football season. And really, what he was trying to accomplish is, if they were not able to punch it in, they would at least have Hartford pinned way back into their own territory. But nonetheless, it gave his offense a lot of confidence, and right now they're back in this football game.
So the Hurricanes are waiting the boot by Jake Conway. And here it comes. And it goes to Gardner at the 10-yard line across the 15, 20, 25, and he gets it out to about the 27-yard line. Jason Gardner on the return. And there on the tackle, Dana Atwood. So Hartford on the offense again, 1st and 10 at his own 27-yard line. Center is Tom Rice. He's over the football as Gardner is wide left. Ethan Hill is in. He's in motion right to left now. McCarthy, the quarterback, handoff to St. Peter. Straight ahead, 35-40. Good running room across the 45. Out to about the 47-yard line. Finally dropped by Dana Atwood. That picked up about 20. And a Hartford first down. They've been impressive. The Raiders have not proved that they can stop the Hartford Hurricanes. That's for sure. The Raiders on the defense.
Well, St. Peter's having a mammoth game here in the first half alone. Already he's got 1 touchdown. The 2-point conversion are credited to him. And that time a huge 20-yard gain along the right sideline. Near sideline. And you're right, Rutland needs to do something against this ground game.
McCarthy on the handoff to St. Peter off right tackle. Nothing much there. Maybe a yard. Then gets driven back. There's Leonard Downey, 5'9", 325-pound senior, who had that fumble recovery earlier to set up the own 47-yard line.
And for the first time defensively, Downey and Barrett Jiggling were able to stand up the Hartford offensive line and push them into the backfield. That's where they met St. Peter, and they really did an outstanding job keeping that play to a minimal gain.
Kells is in, he's wide right, 2nd and 10, actually picked up maybe a half yard. Ethan Hill in motion. McCarthy takes it right on the option and pitches it back, and getting his way to the 50, to the Raider 45, still on his feet, is Jason Gardner, and finally dropped to the Raider 43-yard line. Great option run by Ryan McCarthy. He pitched it back to Gardner just as he was hit, and Gardner picked up about 10 down to the Raider 43, 1st and 10 for the Hurricanes.
Stopped on the play by Atwood, and in the backfield, Bliss had a shot at him. McFerrin had a shot at him along the far sideline, and they were unable to bring him down. Outstanding job of running that time, and picked up a lot of yardage for the Hurricanes, all on second effort.
Well, it picked up 10. Jason Hill is back into the football game for the Hurricanes. Kells is wide right. 1st and 10 for the Hurricanes, the Raider 43. And the handoff goes to Jason Hill, and good yardage as he sweeps it left. Fumbled the football after he was hit, but he took it inside the 35 down to about the 31-yard line. Fumbled after he hit the ground. And that picked up 12, and a Hartford first down. Vaccaro on the tackle. 1st and 10 Hartford at the Raider 31-yard line. Make it the 32. Give them an 11-yard pickup.
The problem the Raiders had defensively stopping the run already on this drive alone. Runs of 20, 10, and 12 yards respectively for the Hurricanes.
Wide right is Kells, one setback behind Ryan McCarthy, the junior quarterback, and it's St. Peter on the carry inside the 25, 20, gets it inside the 15, down to about the 13-yard line. An 18-yard pickup for Randy St. Peter, 6', 205-pound junior, and McIntyre there on the hit. St. Peter just took it straight ahead and rumbled quickly into the Raiders secondary for the first down. 1st and 10 Hurricanes, the Raider 13-yard line. Rice is the center. He's over the football. St. Peter is the lone setback. Double wing set up with Hill and Patkull. Patkull on the left side. And Patkull on the inside. Handoff from McCarthy. And he gets it to about the 12-yard line. Drop there. Picked up maybe a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9. A whole bunch of Raiders there to stack them up. Sean Patkull, actually, they give him a pickup back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. It'll be 2nd and 10 as Patkull comes out. St. Peter back in. Hartford 14, Rutland 12, 6:40 remaining first half here at Alumni Field. So 2nd and 10 for the Hurricanes, the Raider 13. And the handoff this time to Hill. Takes it left against the grain inside the 5, down to about the 3-yard line. That's Jason Hill, who had the 86-yard touchdown run earlier. The kickoff return for a touchdown. And that picks up about 10. Give them 11 yards down to about the 2. I guess they're going to mark it at about the 3. Give them 10. It'll be 1st and goal for the Hurricanes at the Raider 3. As Jacob Conway made the stop for Rutland High. So it's 1st and goal for the Hurricanes, the Raider 3. And we got a timeout on the field. The Raiders with their 3rd timeout. Hurricanes knocking on the door. 1st and goal at the Raider 3-yard line. 6:16 remaining first half. It's Hartford 14, Rutland 12. Back after this 30-second timeout. 1st and goal for the Hartford Hurricanes. They have it at the Raider 3-yard line. 6:16 remaining first half. And the Hurricanes lead it 14-12. Hurricanes getting a 9-yard touchdown run from Randy St. Peter, an 86-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Jason Hill. Raiders scoring a 66-yard touchdown run for Frankie Vaccaro, 3-yard touchdown run on the quarterback option by Brian Finney. Raiders have missed connections on their two-point efforts, and St. Peter took it in for the 2 points after the first Hartford touchdown, and that is the difference. Jason Hill and St. Peter the setbacks, and St. Peter gets the call straight ahead, tripped up at about the 1. Host of Raiders there to drop them. It'll be 2nd and goal for the Hurricanes. Birajiklian in there on the stop. Greg Birajiklian for Rutland High, 6'1", 245-pound junior.
What a nice job Birajiklian did that time, coming from his tackle position, sweeping across the line of scrimmage. Really no gain on that play.
Well, he got it down to about the 2. 2nd and goal. McCarthy keeps straight ahead. He's in. Touchdown. 2-yard quarterback keeper for Ryan McCarthy, in. The Hurricanes lead it now 20-12. That coming with 5:42 left here in the first half.
9 plays on the drive. Starts back at their own 20.
I think you might have to try another mic there, Vince. I don't believe we're picking you up very well. There is another mic in the bag here. Okay, yeah. So one of the problems here. Hartford going for 2. McCarthy barks him out. St. Peter the lone setback. McCarthy looking to throw. Throws right, and it is complete for the 2 points. The far sideline, Jason Gardner. Gardner on the reception. And it is 22-12 Hartford. That's your score. Hartford 22, Rutland 12. 5:42 left here in the first half. Back with a kickoff after this 30-second timeout. Keeper by Ryan McCarthy to put Hartford up 20-12. Then McCarthy found Jason Gardner at the far sideline, the right side of the end zone. Nice catch by Gardner and a nice job of staying in bounds. And Hartford now leads at 22-12. So the Raiders getting to within 2, and Hartford comes back up down the field to score. And McCarthy on the touchdown. McCarthy to Gardner for the 2 points. 5:42 remaining here in the first half at Rutland's Alumni Field.
Well, that drive that started back at their own 27-yard line took just about 4 minutes off the clock by the Hurricanes. 9 plays. The biggest play, St. Peter with a 20-yard gain on the first play from scrimmage. Also throw in there another 18-yard gain. And Hartford once again establishing that they can run the football against the Raider defense. And periodically, Rutland has stood strong on the line of scrimmage defensively, notably Downey and Barajiklian. But they're going to need more help up front if they're going to climb back into this football game, because as it stands now, Hartford is just running right through the line of scrimmage.
So the Raiders have been doing it pretty well offensively. They have to stop Hartford as far as their defense is concerned. Gardner on the kick to either McIntyre or Vaccaro back deep. And here is the boot by Gardner. Line drive. Vaccaro's got it at the 19. Straight ahead across the 25. Looks for room right across the 30 and stacked up at about the 31-yard line. So the Raiders will go on the offense right there. 1st and 10 at their own 31. Dropped by Larry LeBrecq. So the Hartford Hurricanes in their first game in Division I looking very impressive here. At least the early going, the first half.
Well, now it's Rutland's turn. Let's see if they can get something going, first of all, on the ground, because we know that Brian Penny can throw the football downfield. And in order to make it easier for him as this game wears on, they must establish a run. Vaccaro's been very successful so far tonight. Let's see if they go to him to open this drive.
Brian Penny has it 1st and 10, his own 31. Mark Barrasso over the football. Man wide left and Stempeck a wing right. Couple of setbacks, and now Stempeck motion right to left. McFerrin and Vaccaro the setbacks. Penny back to throw, rolls left, looking, and he shoots left, and it is tipped and then caught by Bliss, and Bliss is down at the Hartford 46-yard line. He was tipped by a Hartford secondary player, I believe Ethan Hill, went off him, and Brent Bliss made the catch, tackled at the Hartford 46-yard line. 1st and 10 Raiders as Penny hooks up with Bliss on the tip pass.
And once again, Penny going to the play action, rolling to his left, looking downfield. He was pressured once again in the pocket, but hung in there tough, threw the ball. It was tipped by the Hartford secondary, and
23-yard pass play.
With great concentration, was able to pull it in for a big completion.
23-yard pass play from Penny to Bliss. 1st and 10 Raiders, the 46 of Hartford, a broken play. Penny is going to be sacked back in Raider territory, back around the Raider 48. Tom Rice getting in there to make the stop for the Hurricanes. Great defensive play by Rice. He is a 6'2", 240-pound senior. And lost about 7 as the Raiders now have it 2nd and 17 at their own 48-yard line. Tom Ferrati was in on that play. He comes back out now as McIntyre will be in, as Stempeck will be wide right. McIntyre wide left. McFerrin and Vaccaro the setbacks. Bliss is tied right. 2nd and long for Penny and company. Penny drops it straight back to throw, and he's hit. Another sack for the Hurricane defense. Is getting in there to make the sack was Dana Clay, one of the tri-captains. Clay, a 5'8", 205-pound senior, has lost yardage back to the 42. It lost about 8 more.
Well, they've lost 15 yards in the last 2 plays.
Well, they lost 7, and then they lost yardage back to the 42 anyway. It'll make it 3rd down and long. 3rd and about 25, it looks like, for the Raiders.
Third and about cafeteria to go for a first down. In reference to the new cafeteria set to open Tuesday morning. That's a lot of yards to go for a first down.
Raiders have it at their own 42-yard line. Have it between the hash marks. Penny looking to throw, rolls right, being chased, throws back the other way against the grain, complete on the screen to Vaccaro, skips his way out across the 45, down at the Raider 46. Picked up 4. They set up the screen, let everybody in, and Penny threw left, and there was Vaccaro, but the Hurricanes had that one sniffed out nicely. It picked up only 4 yards. It'll be fourth down at about 21 for the Raiders. They'll have to boot it away. Hartford 22, Rutland 12, 2:47 remaining first half here at Alumni Field, the season opener for both clubs.
Well, credit to Hartford defense with their ability to close in on the football extremely fast. Nice play set up. They had Barajiklian blocking in the open field, but there was too many defenders there to snuff the play out.
McFerrin back to boot at his own 34. Gardner back around the 20 for the Hartford Hurricanes. And Tackle also back there, and Gardner grabs it at the 30 and then manages to get out to about the 35 before he's dropped. And we have penalty markers down. We'll see what this is all about. Apparently against the Raiders, at least the Hartford coaching staff here on the near sideline believes that. It's a face mask against Rutland. Jason Schmidt made the tackle for the Raiders, but a face mask. I'm not sure if it was Jason or not on that, but it is face mask, and it's a 15-yard penalty marked out against Rutland High, and Hartford will have it just on the Raiders side of the 50-yard line. We'll call it the Raider 49. First and 10 for the Hartford Hurricanes. Into the football game offensively for the Hurricanes now is Ben Hall. Wide right goes Jason Gardner. Tackle is a set back behind McCarthy along with St. Peter. Back to throw. McCarthy throws and it goes incomplete. No, it's picked off by Stembeck. Stembeck gets it out across the 40, 45, 50, 45, and he is down at the Hartford 43. That hit Ethan Hill on the helmet, I thought, and it went way up into the air. Thought it was going to go into complete, and Stembeck picked it up and returned it back to the Hurricane 42-yard line. I don't know if that hit him off the face mask or off the helmet.
Give Greg Barajiklian a lot of credit for that interception. He came from his defensive tackle position and blindsided McCarthy as he released the football. And I think in sports it's called hearing the footsteps. McCarthy was fully aware that he was going to get pounded. As soon as he let go of the football, he may have let off just enough to have the ball skip away right into the waiting hands of Mr. Stempeck, who had a big return for the Raiders.
First and 10 Raiders, the Hartford 43-yard line. A minute 40 remaining first half. The interception by Stempeck, and we got a penalty marker now. And I believe it's going to go against the Raiders, so they're going to mark it back. They'll have it first and 15 at least. Ethan Hill was the intended receiver, and he was wide open, though. Even though McCarthy might have some pressure put on, it either hit him off the face mask or off the helmet, and I was saying incomplete, but popped way up into the air, and Stempeck came out of nowhere for the interception.
Well, the ball may be a little bit harder to pick up under these lights, but nonetheless, outstanding job. Greg Barajiklian just blindsided McCarthy and really put a hit right on him as soon as he threw the football, and that enabled the ball to skip away, and it went up about 15 yards in the air right into the hands of Mr. Stempeck.
Penalty against the Raiders first and 15 at the Hartford 46. What did they call? Procedure? Back to throw, quick drop, Penny, throws over the middle, and it goes incomplete down around the 35-yard line. As trying to come up with a diving catch and unable to come up with it was Chris Mayhew. So it'll be second and 15 for the Raiders at the Hartford 46. A minute 17 remaining first half. Hartford with a 22-12 lead. A huge crowd here tonight at Alumni Field. Chris Mayhew seeing some action. Chris, don't call me Brian Mayhew. Then he barks him out on second down. Handoff to Vaccaro. Bobbled it at the line of scrimmage, but good yardage inside the 40 down to about the 37. Picked up about 9. Randy St. Peter on the stop for the Hurricanes. And got it down to the 36. Picked up about 10. But it will be third down, third and about 5 for the Raiders, just outside the 35. We'll call it the 36.
Well, just under a minute to go now, Jack. They're in pretty good field position. If they can get in a position to at least come out of here with a field goal, remember, they will get the football back to start the second half.
I believe they're out of timeouts. They've taken 3, correct? Back to throw Pinney. Rolls right, third down play from the 36. Keeps to the 30, to the 25, first down and more, 20, and Pinney down to the 15-yard line before he's dropped. 21-yard pickup on the keeper by Pinney. And the Raiders are going to line it up here quickly. 30 seconds remaining in the first half. First and 10 for the Raiders at the Hartford 16.
They are out of timeouts.
Well, they did stop, of course, to move the sticks. Now the clock running again. 27 seconds remaining in the half. Hartford with a 22-12 lead. Raiders have it first and 10 off that run by Pinney at the Hartford 16-yard line. Couple of wideouts left, couple of setbacks behind Pinney. And to the right side of the Raider line jumps. This will be a legal procedure against Rutland High. It'll be first and 15. And they will have it at the Hartford 21-yard line. Illegal procedure with 16 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, if you notice along the defensive line by the Hurricanes, they come down into their stance and then they all shift at the same time, and that's the second time this evening that the Rutland offensive line has jumped off sides as a result of that moment.
Hurry, McIntyre's out, Mayhew in, the clock running, 8 seconds left. Mayhew and Stempeck wide left, and Pinney throws the ball away out of bounds near sideline with 2 seconds left. That stops the clock, so the Raiders will have an opportunity here for one more play, as they have it at the Hartford 21-yard line.
Well, they had a choice to make when Brian Pinney was scrambling out of the pocket, the extra yardage or stopping the clock, and they chose to go and good heads-up play that time by Pinney to go for the yardage. He looked as though he was going to get to the sideline to stop the clock, but he chose to go upfield a little bit further, figuring they had enough time to get more plays off.
It is now second down and 15 for the Raiders at the Hartford 21-yard line. Is in offensively for Rutland High is Jake Conway. I have an urge to call him Jake Downey. I hope I didn't. Couple of setbacks, and we got a penalty marker down for too much time. It'll be now second down and 20. After the too much time penalty. And now Hartford calls for the timeout. The Raiders have it at the Hartford 26. Second down and 20 yards to go. We've got a timeout on the field, 22-12 Hartford, and we'll keep it right here. I know our signal could be better. We're going to try to work on it at halftime. We apologize for that. I think it's got something to do with our antenna here.
Well, hopefully my mic is working a little bit better now. I know Jack likes to give me the broken one so he can have the whole spotlight to himself. Usually midway during the first half, he decides to give me the microphone that's working so that they know that he's not alone in doing the game there tonight.
Second down and 20 for the Raiders at the Hartford 26-yard line. 2 seconds left here in the first half. 22-12 Hartford.
Second down.
As Mayhew brings it wide left now. Time for one more play. Here's Pinney. Will air it out. Got Conway in motion right to left. Back to throw, Pinney being chased and gets away from one man. Let's fly, and it will be intercepted by Backel. No, Backel doesn't hang on at the 5-yard line. Bobbled it at the 5, then dropped it at the 10, and I'll tell you, he would have gone 9 yards for a touchdown.
He could have gone the whole way.
It was off to the left. Backel would have gone straight up the middle.
And I think he noticed that too. He looked up the field and saw nothing but green, and he probably he started running before he caught the football. And luckily for the Raiders, it bounced away and did no harm. There is an injured Rutland player on the far sideline.
Yeah, we'll get back to that in just a moment. That's the end of the first half. At halftime, it's the Hartford Hurricanes 22, Rutland High 12. Going to make it 8-6 Hartford. 2-point rush failed. The ensuing kickoff with 2:20 remaining in the quarter. 86-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Jason Hill. It went by him. He had to retreat and picked it up at the 14-yard line. Took it up and down the left sideline, virtually untouched for the touchdown. That put Hartford up 14-6. The try for the extra point's no good. That was the score after a quarter. Leonard Downey recovering a fumble for the Raiders to set up their second touchdown. Eventually culminated after a missed field goal attempt and then a Hartford penalty on 4th down, a 3-yard quarterback keeper by Brian Penny to cut the Hartford lead to 14-12. The try for the extra point's no good. And with 5:42 left in the half, 2-yard touchdown run on the quarterback keeper straight ahead by Hartford's Ryan McCarthy. And that made it 20-12 Hartford, and McCarthy hooked up to Jason Gardner on the 2-point pass play to make it 22-12 Hartford. And that's where we stand right now as we get set for the second half. The captains again meeting at midfield. Hartford going right to left in the third quarter. The Raiders going left to right. The Raiders will receive, and we'll see what happens here.
Well, offensively, from a line of scrimmage standpoint, the offensive line of Rutland doing an average job here tonight. If they can only buy Brian Penny just a few more seconds of pass protection and let him fully set up when he rolls either to his right or his left, he's going to have time to look downfield to McIntyre, most notably his long pass threat. But, you know, so far in the first half, they've executed their plays properly. However, as soon as he goes to roll, he is faced with extensive pressure in the pocket, and he's unable to finish his footwork in the backfield and set up and throw downfield. If they're able to get him a few more seconds of time to set up and look downfield, he can certainly start to complete more passes in the second half.
Ryan McIntyre going back deep along with Frankie Vaccaro for the Raiders. Again, the Raiders going left to right here. They start off in the third quarter. Hartford going right to left. Jason Gardner will be doing the booting for the Hurricanes. Still anybody's ball game, a 22-12 Hartford lead. Hartford going after its 27th consecutive victory. 4 straight Division 1A state titles, their first game in Division 1. This year in the state of Vermont, we have Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3. No more 1A, plus the 8-man football league. So we'll see what happens here. There's the boot, and we'll come to an up man fumbling across the 30 and then recovering. Let's see, a scramble for the football at the 35, and I believe the Raiders have it. It was a kickoff that came up short. I believe it was Stenpeck who came up with the football and fumbled ahead and recovered his own fumble. The Raiders indeed have it, 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
Almost a scare that time. The ball scooted through his legs, and he kicked it as he was running towards it. And fortunately for the Raiders' cause, someone was able to pounce on the football and maintain possession, and they'll take over at their own 35 to open this third quarter.
Mark Barassa is the center. He's over the football. And on this play is Ben Anderson. He's tied right, wing right now. As Penny goes to Vaccaro straight ahead, fumble, and Hartford thinks they have it. We'll see here. Still no indication from the officials. The Hurricanes think they have it. Still no indication from the officials. Still none. Hartford, they're celebrating, and indeed, Hartford has recovered. The fumble recovery, the Hartford Hurricanes have it at the Raider 38, 1st and 10. We'll see. Not sure who did recover that fumble for Hartford. There was a big scramble, but the Hurricanes have it 1st and 10. The Raiders fumbled on the first play from scrimmage in the second half. So McCarthy, the quarterback. It's a junior quarterback. McCarthy, play action, rolls right, looking to throw. Throws, and it is an incompleted forward pass. Almost a great diving catch by Ben Hill as he came back for it. Actually, it went behind him a little bit, down around the Raider 32-yard line, but he couldn't come up with it.
Just as he caught it, it bounced, and he did a nice job of shielding it from 2 of the officials, but the official downfield was right on top of the play and whistled it an incompletion as it had hit the ground.
Kells is in, Jesse Kells, and also Ethan Hill, who's wide right, and a wing left, one setback behind McCarthy, and that's St. Peter. He gets the pitch, sweeps left, breaks a tackle inside the 35, and rumbles his way down to the Raider 32-yard line, a pickup of 6, 3rd and 4. Jeff McFerrin there on the stop along with Brent Bliss for Rutland High.
Going to their workhorse, St. Peter.
3rd and 3, we'll call it a long 3 for the Hurricanes at the Raider 33. Just underway, second half, 10:57 remaining in the third quarter. The Hurricanes lead the Raiders 22-12. They mark it at the left side hash mark. In motion is Jason Hill. It goes straight ahead, though, to Gardner. Gardner gets it down to about the 25-yard line, then gets driven back by a host of Raiders. Picked up a quick 8, and that's a Hartford at first down. Mark Barassa on the stop. This would be a huge touchdown for the Hurricanes if they can cash in, as the Raiders are trying to establish themselves defensively. Going to mark it at the 26, so it'll be 1st and 10 Hartford, the Raider 26.
Well, it's time to toughen up for the Rutland defense. Try to get a big play, possibly a turnover, or at least keep Hartford out of the end zone here coming off the turnover.
St. Peter back in, lone setback. Jason Hill in motion. St. Peter gets the handoff, takes it off right tackle, gets a couple, skips his way to about the 23. Drop there. Leading the way, Jacob Conway. Jacob Conway, a 5'11", 180-pound sophomore. They're going to mark it at the 24-yard line. We'll call it 2nd down and a long 8 for the Hartford Hurricanes. They have it at the Raider 24. Patkull comes back in and also back into the football game. Jason Gardner for the Hurricanes. Jason Hill comes out of the football game. Again, St. Peter is the lone setback, and a wing left and wide left is Jason Gardner, a man wide right as well. McCarthy inside handoff to Patkull, and Patkull gets maybe a yard. That's it, stacked up there. Sean Patkull. And on the stop, Mark Barassa for the Raiders had a little bit of help. Give him a pickup back to the line of scrimmage. Call it 3rd down, a long 8. Maybe picked up a half yard. Hurricanes have it at the Raider 24-yard line.
Well, St. Peter's their go-to guy in the backfield for the Hurricanes, and so far in the second half, they're kind of using him as a decoy, allowing some of the other backfield members of the Hartford offense to carry the football, and don't look for them to keep the football out of St. Peter's hands for too long, as he's had a tremendous amount of success all evening long for the Hurricanes.
Gardner wide left, Patkull a wing left, or make it Jason Hill wing left. Play action, McCarthy rolls left, looking to throw, throws, and it is incomplete. Underthrew his intended receiver, St. Peter, down around the Raider 19-yard line. So it'll be 4th down, a long 8 for the Hurricanes at the Raider 24. Hurricanes, of course, setting this up on a fumble recovery. It was a scramble. It took a long time to uncover, a long time before the officials finally gave the 1st down signal. The Hurricanes knew it way in advance, but now they're faced with a 4th down, but they're in 4-down territory. 22-12 Hartford, 8:59 remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, if Rutland can get out of here with a stop on this 4th down play, that'll certainly give them a lot of confidence coming off that turnover to open the second half here.
Now Hartford wants a timeout. The Hurricanes first of the second half. We got a timeout on the field. 8:59 remaining 3rd quarter. The Hurricanes lead at 22-12. We'll be back after this 30-second break. Play back with Vince Allo at Alumni Field, the season opener for the Rutland High Red Raiders. First game under new coach Mike Norman. First game in Division I for the Hartford Hurricanes. Hurricanes have it 4th down and about 8 at the Raider 24-yard line. Ethan Hill in wide left, couple of setbacks. McCarthy parks him out. McCarthy back to throw for the Hurricanes. Looking, shoots left, and it is complete. A sliding catch down at the Raider 13-yard line. Jason Gardner, and that is an 11-yard pickup and a Hartford 1st down on 4th down. Brian McCarthy hooking up with Jason Gardner. 1st and 10 Hurricanes at the Raider 13-yard line.
What a huge play on 4th down for the Hurricanes. McCarthy rolled to his left, set up in time, and he had actually a lot of time to make that completion to Gardner for the big 1st down, and this drive continues for the Hurricanes.
Big 4th down play. Ethan Hill wide right, man wide left, as McCarthy goes to St. Peter straight ahead, inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's crunched under at the Raider 1-yard line. A 12-yard pickup by Randy St. Peter. He's got a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to his credit in this ball game tonight, and Hartford knocking on the door. 1st and goal at the Raider 1. St. Peter is the guy that took over for the injured Jeremy Durant, a Shrine player, a year ago. Durant was out most of the season, and St. Peter played in his place and did a superb job, and we can see why.
Well, he certainly carried the load offensively this evening for the Hartford Hurricanes. 1 touchdown to his credit, a 2-point conversion, and Coach Stone knows what's good for him, as he probably will. You look for St. Peter deep into Rutland territory.
McCarthy fumbles. Is he trying to go in on the keeper? Let's see. Was 1st and goal, Hartford at the Raider 1. And apparently the Hurricanes recovered their own fumble.
Well, I was wrong.
And it will be 2nd and goal at about the 2 and lost maybe a half yard. Well, I think Hurricanes almost coughed it up, and somebody got it back. McCarthy tried on the quarterback keeper.
Well, that's what got Hartford a 1st down in the 1st half, was the quarterback keeper, and everybody in attendance thought that St. Peter was going to get the football.
McCarthy to St. Peter straight ahead, stacked up, at the line of scrimmage, driven back by a host of Raiders. Frank Parisi was there to lead the way, had a lot of help. Greg Birajiklian was there as well. It'll be 3rd and goal Hurricanes as the Raiders try to come up with a goal line stand, and actually that lost a yard. It'll be 3rd and goal for Hartford at the Raider 3.
Huge defensive play by Greg Birajiklian. Once again, his ability to get into the backfield and disrupt the offensive strategy for the Hartford Hurricanes. A great tackle that time by Birajiklian, throws him for a loss, and so far in the last 2 plays, Rutland's goal line defense has responded well.
So it's 3rd and goal for the Hurricanes, the Raider 3. St. Peter again on the carry, takes it right, then against the grain, he's in, touchdown. Randy St. Peter, 3-yard touchdown run, and the Hurricanes now go up by a score of 28-12 with 6:52 remaining in the 3rd quarter. St. Peter, he is a bull for the Hurricanes. He's got a 3-yard touchdown. That's his 2nd touchdown of the ball game tonight.
Well, the 11th play of the drive that started, thinking back, at the Rutland 37 as a result of the fumble after the first play from the line of scrimmage by Rutland to open this second half. And you can't make mistakes like that against a very seasoned Hartford football team. Of course, 4 state championships in a row. They certainly know how to convert off a turnover.
Gardner in to attempt the extra point. Low snap, they get it down, and the kick is up. Line drive, good. Whoa! Just made it over the crossbar. And they got the snap down. I believe that might have been Patkel getting the snap down. I couldn't catch who that was, but it was Gardner on the extra point, as it was a line drive that made it over the crossbar. It's 29-12 Hartford. So that's your score with 6:52 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Hartford 29, Rutland 12. Back with a kickoff after this 32nd time. Jack Healey back with Vince Allo. The fumble recovery for the Hurricanes on the first play from scrimmage in the second half. The Raiders fumbled. Hurricanes recovered, didn't catch it as a whole scramble there for the football, and eventually the Hurricanes cash in the 3-yard touchdown run by St. Peter and the extra point by Gardner. 29-12 Hartford now with 6:52 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and Gardner's boot coming up here. McIntyre or Vaccaro, but it'll be along the ground. It'll go back to Vaccaro at the 21, across the 25, looking for room as he takes it right, gets it across the 30, out to about the 32-yard line. Frankie Vaccaro on the return, and the Raiders have some work to do. They have it 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line. A host of Hartford Hurricanes there to drop them.
Well, I think at this stage in the football game, Jack, Rutland offensively needs to get a drive going. Something that's going to take a lot of time off the clock, keep the Hartford defense on the field, protect the football, and basically just go through the motions to try to see what's going to work and what's not going to work as this game wears on into the 4th quarter. Right now, they need to sustain a drive and get some points on the board. That's obvious.
They're going to mark it at the Raider 33, so the Raiders have it 1st and 10, their own 33. Tied right is Ben Anderson. Stempeck is wide right, couple of setbacks behind. Brian Finney is in motion now right to left to Stempeck. And the inside handoff going to Vaccaro, skips his way across the 35 out to about the 37-yard line. Frankie picks up 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Phil Guerin on the stop for the Hurricanes.
Well, since Vaccaro scooted for his long touchdown run, he had a few long yardage gains after that. But since then, the Hartford defense has certainly keyed on him. And quite honestly, the Rutland offense hasn't been on the field all that much in order to let Vaccaro do his thing out there.
2nd and 6 for the Raiders. They have it at their own 37-yard line at the right side hash mark. The Hurricanes lead at 29-12, clock running. 5:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter. McIntyre in wide right, Stempeck wide left. McFerrin and Vaccaro the setbacks. Vaccaro gets the call straight ahead, breaks a tackle 40, and he gets it out to about the 44-yard line, picks up 7. That's a Raider 1st down. Ethan Hill coming over to make the stop for the Hurricanes, and also Jason Gardner was over there. That was the same play that Vince actually just mentioned, that 66-yard touchdown run that Frankie Vaccaro had earlier. Just a straight-ahead dive play. That time he managed to pick up 7 and a 1st down. 1st and 10. Raiders their own 44.
Well, we're going to see a lot of that this year from Frankie Vaccaro. He obviously has the speed, and if he can break into the secondary, there's no one in the state of Vermont that's going to catch him. It's just getting him to that point that's been the problem so far in this game for the Raiders.
Mayhew in, wide right now as Penny barks him out on 1st down. In motion, Stempeck left to right. Couple of setbacks behind the senior quarterback. Penny back to throw, rolls right, looking, shoots, incomplete. He had Brett Bliss down around the 46, couldn't hang on, he was wide open. And it'll be 2nd and 10, Raiders their own 44. Brent Bliss from his tight end spot, 6 foot, 185-pound senior, one of the quad captains.
Well, Gary Colte, number 56 of Rutland, did a nice job from his guard position, pulling and turning back into the defense and allowing Penny the time to set up and throw, and that's what I touched on at halftime. He had enough time to throw the football that time, look downfield. Unfortunately, Bliss was unable to pull it in for the completion.
And Anderson in tight right, Bliss is tight left now. Stempeck is wide left, 2nd and 10 for the Raiders, their own 44-yard line, and something happened there. We got penalty markers all over the place.
Yeah, the Rutland offensive line on the left side moved again. You notice on the first count by the opposing quarterback, in this case it's Brian Penny, the Hartford defense shifts left to right, probably 3 feet each, all in unison, and that's really been boggling the offensive line of the Rutland Raiders. I believe that's the 3rd, if not the 4th, offsides penalty as a result of that line movement by the Hartford defense.
It is a legal procedure, a legal motion against the Raiders. They mark it back to the Raider 39. The Raiders have it 2nd and 15. Hartford 29 and Rutland 12. We have 5:02 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Brian Penny, senior quarterback, marks him out. Penny drops it straight back, flushed out of the pocket as he rolls left, looking. He is going to keep up the sideline, 45, 50, and he's knocked out of bounds at the Hartford 47-yard line or so. Penny flushed out of the pocket, took it left, and then upfield for good yardage. Let's see where they're going to mark it. They are going to mark it at the Hartford 48. Picked up about 12 yards or so. It'll be 3rd and 3. They needed 15 for the first down. 3rd and 3 for the Raiders at the Hartford 48-yard line.
Big 3rd down play offensively here for the Raiders. They can get this first down and keep this drive going. That's exactly what we touched on to start this drive, is keeping the football for any length of time and getting a drive of their own established.
George Aspinwall is the new Raider center. He's over the football. The Raiders have a 3rd down and about 3 at the Hartford Hurricane 48-yard line. And he's got a couple of setbacks, and he's got a man in motion now. Conway left to right. And the handoff to Vaccaro, and he's going to be dropped for a loss all the way back to the Raider 45. That one, you can see it coming all the way. Yeah, he lost yardage, and he was hit by Courtney Crump. All the way back to the 47.
Well, although he lost yardage on that play, something that could have been lost on that possession was the football. To get you an idea of exactly how strong Frankie Vaccaro is, he was able to hold on to the football with one arm with 2 Hartford defenders draped all over him, tugging at the football, and the strength of Vaccaro kept that ball from popping loose.
Lost about 7 or so, lost about 6 will make it. 4th and 8 for the Raiders, and back is McFerrin to boot it at his own 35-yard line. Raiders have it back at their own 47 now. Tackle is back as the snap is low, but McFerrin digs it out. Also back for the Hurricanes is Gardner, and gets a great roll inside the 15, inside the 10, and blown dead at about the 7-yard line. Great roll, a great boot by McFerrin, and Hartford way back in the shadow of its own goalpost, back at the 7.
Oh, great kick and a great roll that time for the Raiders, and what could have been a dangerous play. It was a low snap, and he did everything he could to gain possession of the football and got an outstanding kick away, and now Hartford takes over deep in their own territory, and this is a good opportunity for the Rutland defense to show something here. See if they can stop the run for a change here tonight and pin Hartford back in their own territory.
On setback, St. Peter's had 2 touchdowns tonight. St. Peter gets the call, takes it off left tackle across the 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. St. Peter to the 45, dives across the 50, down at the Raider 48-yard line. Didn't take long for Randy St. Peter to get into the act. Brent Bliss, a saving tackle for the Raiders. 1st and 10, Hartford at the Raider 49. That carry by St. Peter, 44 yards and a Hartford first down. And Bliss just got him off the shoe tops.
Once again, credit the offensive line of Hartford with creating another huge hole and a deception job by the Hartford offense in the backfield, too. Rutland had a hard time picking up, indeed, who had the football until he was late into the secondary, and St. Peter was almost untouched into the end zone.
McCarthy on the pitch to Gardner has given St. Peter a breather, and Gardner sweeps left inside the 45, inside the 40, and down at the Raider 36-yard line. Pickup of 13. Gardner doing it when St. Peter has not been in there. And we do have an injury here. A Hartford Hurricane player. We had an injury for the Raiders toward the tail end of the first half. We never did get back to it, but apparently the player's okay. We had no way of double-checking that. John Watson made the tackle for Rutland on that play. John Watson is a 5'7", 170-pound sophomore. What's that? We seem to have a disagreement as to who the tackle was made by.
Somebody in red. So we'll narrow it down that way.
Pat Dwyer was in on that tackle. Players all right for Hartford. The handoff to Patkull as he takes it right. It was 1st and 10, Hartford at the Raider 36. Patkull picks up maybe a yard or two. Let's see where they give him his forward progress. Got it to about the 35-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Feels an awful lot like October out here tonight, Jack.
Well, it's September. We're only 1 month away. 2nd down, a long 9. They're going to mark it back. They're going to mark it at the 36. That's where they say his forward progress was. So maybe picked up a half yard at the most. Hill and Gardner wide. Ethan Hill wide left as McCarthy barks him out. McCarthy on the handoff now. It goes to Jason Hill, and Jason Hill inside the 30 tripped up as he got it to the 29-yard line, a pickup of 7. Leonard Downey there on the stop for Rutland High. It'll be 3rd down and close to 3 for the Hurricanes at the Raider 29-yard line. 2 Hills, by the way, Jason Hill and also Ethan Hill for the Hurricanes. Jason Hill had the 86-yard kickoff return for a touchdown for Hartford earlier. Minute 45 left, 3rd quarter. Hartford 29 and Rutland 12. Marking near the right side of hash mark. Tom Rice is the center. And McCarthy is the quarterback. Couple of setbacks on 3rd down. McCarthy pitches it back now to Gardner on the option, and Gardner is hit outside the 30. Lost yardage back to the 33. Penalty markers down. Leonard Downey again there on the stop, and there is a Hartford Hurricane who has been injured on the play.
That's Gardner, the ball carrier, and he's not moving. Downey just flattened him. Now Gardner rolls over to his side. He was stung by Downey, and Downey is one of the larger players on the field, 5'9", 325. The sofa, he just leveled him.
And lost about 4 yards, but the penalty marker is a clipping call against Hartford.
Let's hope he's okay, because he certainly did take a shot that time by Downey.
And so while we have the injury timeout and we can't tell who the Hurricane player is who is down.
I think it's number 12, the ball carrier that time, yep. Gardner.
Yeah, okay, it might be Gardner. I still can't see who that is from here.
In fact, he just limped off the field a minute ago, came back in and carried it the next time for Hartford and paid the price dearly. Let's hope he's okay. 15-yard penalty from the point of infraction, and Hartford will have it back at the Raider 48 as the Raiders accept the penalty. It'll be 3rd and long. We have a minute 28, 3rd and 25 for Hartford, the Raider 48. Minute 28 remaining, 3rd quarter. It's Hartford 29 and Rutland 12. We got an injury timeout. We'll be back after this 30-second break. Brian Camber is in. It is the injured player, Jason Gardner, but he does come off the field under his own power. So 3rd and 25 for Hartford as we're back. Hartford has it at the Raider 48-yard line. The Hurricanes lead it by a score of 29-12. I think he just got his bell rung, and understandably so, getting hit that time by Downey, who checks in at 325, and he's only 5'9". He's 5'9" both ways by those measurements.
Fresh on Patkull and Jesse Kells back into the football game for Hartford. Man wide left, 1 setback. McCarthy looking to throw, drops it back, shoots it long, wants Patkull, and it is incomplete, almost intercepted downfield.
Pat Dwyer had the opportunity for the interception for the Raiders. Actually,
Dwyer was down there, and also a whole bunch of Raiders had the opportunity. Pat Dwyer, and also down there was Dana Atwood. It'll be 4th down and 25 for the Hurricanes at the Raider 48. I think back to that 4th down play in the first series of the ball game. McCarthy was 4th and 1, but you figure the first series of the season and so forth, and Mike Stone elected to go for it. McCarthy picked up the 1st down. That's pretty much...
that's told the story
so
far.
Told the story.
Because that was the Raider inability to stop the run, and that was a huge play to open this game.
Gardner's okay. He's into boot here. And it's a bad snap. Back inside the 35. Gardner picks it up again across the 40-45. And he's going to be dropped at the Hartford 45-yard line. But Carl was there to make the stop. Back deep were Stempeck and McIntyre for the Raiders. It was a bad snap. Back to the punter, Jason Gardner, and he elected to run with it after picking up the bad snap. And the Raiders managed to come up with a play and hold on 4th down, and they take over on downs. And they have great field position, 1st and 10 at the Hartford 44. And we'll see. They got to cash in on this one as the Raiders are trailing 29-12 with 51 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Well, 2 out of the last 3 plays, Gardner was injured while carrying the football, and then they snap it to him long for the punt, and he has to run it again. He's certainly getting plenty of action tonight for the Hurricanes.
Loss of back in at center. He's over the football. McIntyre wide right. McFerrin and Vaccaro with the setbacks behind Penny, and Stempeck is a wing left. Stempeck in motion now left to right. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. The Hartford 44. Vaccaro on the call. 40. Vaccaro takes it left. Breaks a tackle to the 35. Vaccaro down at the Hartford 34. Close to a 10-yard pickup for Frankie Vaccaro. Nathan Eisner on the stop for the Hurricanes. We'll see where they mark. It should be a first down. It is a Raider first down.
Outstanding 2nd and 3rd effort by Frankie Vaccaro. We touched on the strength that he has in the upper body by being able to hold on to the football while Hartford defenders were actually holding on to it. He held on with one arm, and that play there, 2 or 3 different Hartford defenders had a chance at him, and he just blew right by him.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Raiders at the Hartford 34-yard line. Another Hartford player has been shaken up. Again, the last injured player, Jason Gardner, okay. At least he came in to punt before, even though he didn't get the punt away because of the bad snap. And the clock stops with 19 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Tomorrow on WSYB in Rutland, it's MSJ hosting Middlebury. Vince and Chris Levin's on the air at 1:15. The injured player, Corey Duda, but he's okay. He's running off the field to the near sideline of the Hartford bench under his own power. First and 10 for the Raiders at the Hartford 34-yard line. Jacob Conway is in. He's wide right. McIntyre's in. He's wide left.
A little bit of confusion along the Hartford defense.
Now Hartford continues to substitute here. They haven't really marked the officials have not marked the ball for play. Now they do. McFerrin and Vaccaro the setbacks behind the senior quarterback Brian Finney. On 1st down. Motion now is Conway. The handoff to Vaccaro, sweeps right, has some room against the grain to the 30, down to the 27-yard line. The workhorse for the Raiders, Frankie Vaccaro, picks up 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. And Randy St. Peter get on the play defensively. He's got a couple of touchdowns offensively, of course, and he
again, a nice job of blocking in the backfield by Steve Pryor for the Raiders. That should do it for the 3rd quarter.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. I was going to say St. Peter had that big run from his own 7-yard line up to around midfield. That's the end of the 3rd quarter after 3 here at Alumni Field in Rutland. Our score, Hartford 29 and Rutland 12. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Jack Healey back with Vince Allo at Alumni Field. Hartford 29 and Rutland 12. Hartford increasing its halftime lead in the 3rd quarter. Only one score, that 3-yard run by Randy St. Peter and the Gardner kick. Hartford led at halftime 22-12. The Raiders have it 2nd down and 3 at the Hartford 27. The Raiders going right to left as we look out here in the 4th quarter. Hartford left to right. And the Raiders will have it at the right side hash mark. The Raiders have to cash in. This was on the poor snap on 4th and long for the Hurricanes. And the Hurricanes, of course, did not pick up the first down, so the Raiders took over on downs. Like to cash in here. McIntyre wide right, Stempeck wide left, McFerrin and Vaccaro the setbacks behind Brian Finney. 6', 180-pound senior quarterback. Finney back to throw, being chased. Rolls left. He is going to keep. And he managed to get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard before he's bounced out of bounds. There is a penalty marker down. Finney was flushed out of the pocket, took it left, and then bounced out of bounds here near sideline. A penalty marker down. I'm not sure if it was a late hit or not. No, it's going to go the other way. Apparently, it's going to go against the Raiders. They're talking to one of the Hartford tri-captains. Nathan Eisner. Maybe it was a clip. Still don't see the indication from the official.
2 or 3 different officials threw the flag. It was a clip.
It is a clip against the Raiders.
That'll move it all the way back.
I saw one of the coaches for Hartford screaming about the play, undoubtedly pointing out the clip. I thought they were yelling at their own player for maybe hitting out of bounds, but that's not the way it went. So after the 15-yard penalty from the point of infraction, the Raiders now have it at the Hartford 45, repeating second down. Second down at about 20. Early going fourth quarter, Hartford 29 and Rutland 12. Barassa back in its center. He's over the football. Wide right goes Stempeck. McIntyre's wide left. Barron and Vaccaro the setbacks as Penny barks him out. On second and long, Penny takes it right, and he slips and falls. His knee touches back at the Raider 47-yard line and lost about 8. LeBrecht was there just in case. Penny went right on the option, maybe looking to throw. It'll be 3rd and 28 for the Raiders. They're going to mark it back at the Raider 47-yard line.
Kind of looked like a broken play in the backfield as he was bumped by either McFerrin or Vaccaro. I believe it was McFerrin, number 23. It looked like he was trying to run an option to the right side, but there was no one to option to, and then he decided to set up the pass and lost his footing as his right foot slipped as he went to plant and look downfield. An unfortunate break for the Raiders offensively.
Bliss tied left, Anderson tied right as he's in. Double tight end set up. And Penny on the handoff to Vaccaro straight ahead. They got this one snuffed out. Back to the line of scrimmage he goes and then gets driven back. That was the touchdown play. And he was driven back by Courtney Crump. Hartford Hurricanes have indeed been impressive in their opener in Division I. And the Raiders faced with a 4th and about 28, we'll call it, back at their own 47-yard line. That lost about a half yard. 10:40 left in the football game. Rashawn Patko back deep for the Hurricanes, along with Jason Gardner. Again, Gardner's okay. McFerrin back to boot for the Raiders, back around his own 36. Back around the 20 are Gardner and Patko. And the snap is a good one. And McFerrin gets the boot away. It'll hit inside the 25. Then takes a reverse bounce. The Raiders blow it dead at the 26-yard line. So Hartford will go on the offense. 1st and 10, its own 26. Hartford 29 and Rutland 12 with 10:14 left in the football game.
Well, I agree with you, Jack. Hartford certainly has looked very impressive in their Division I debut, and something we touched on in the pregame, and as this game wore on, they've looked that good against Division I opponents in most recent years, and that's going to be their schedule the entire season long, and if we see this again from Hartford, they certainly have a shot at doing it in Division I.
McCarthy's gone all the way at quarterback, handoff to St. Peter, takes it left, breaks tackles, gets across the 35, scoots out to about the 37. Pickup of 11 for Randy St. Peter, finally dropped by Greg Birajiklian. Well, I'll tell you, he is impressive. Again, he's the guy everybody over in the Connecticut River Valley area knows. He's the guy that took over for Jeremy Duran last year.
And here's encouraging news for opponents. He's a junior.
Shane Kudamarsh comes in now for Hartford. He is wide left, Kudamarsh. 1st and 10 for the Hurricanes, their own 37. Hand off to Jason Hill, sweeps right against the grain and scoots out to about the 43. Pickup of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 for Hartford. They're very methodical. Like Stempeck on the stop for Rutland High.
Well, methodical, yes. Effective, extremely. They certainly know how to carry the football up the middle. They're getting good blocking from their down linemen. And pretty much anybody they put in the backfield has the ability to break it open. Most notably, as we've touched on, is St. Peter. But when he's not carrying the football, whether it's Gardner or Patko, they certainly can carry the football equally as well.
McCarthy on 2nd down. Handoff straight ahead to St. Peter. Breaks into the secondary and dropped at the 50-yard line by Conway. Picks up 7, another Hartford 1st down. 1st and 10, Hurricanes at the 50-yard line. Clock running with 8:49 remaining. Clock running now after the 1st down. They rearrange range the sticks. 29-12. The Hurricanes with the lead.
Just gives you an idea of exactly how important having a dominating running game can help you offensively. We're seeing it here tonight by the Hurricanes.
J.C. Kells is wide left, couple of setbacks. McCarthy spins, handoff to St. Peter, has room right inside the 45, down to the 43. And he's dropped by, again, Jacob Conway, 5'11", 180-pound sophomore. St. Peter with a quick 7 at 2nd and 3. Well, we had the MVP for Hartford tonight. There's no doubt in my mind who that would be.
Roger Clemens, Joe Montana? No. I had to say those two names because everybody thinks of them anyways in cases like that. But you're right, St. Peter certainly has been the workhorse all evening long for this Hartford Hurricane offense.
Gardner wide left, 2nd and 3 for the Hurricanes. And here is Jason Hill on the inside handoff. Backs his way inside the 40, down to about the 38. Pick up a 5, looks like another Hartford first down. Ben Anderson there to wrap him up for Rutland. Hatkel and Kells come back in. Jason Hill comes out. Also coming out is Jason Gardner. 1st and 10 Hurricanes, the Raider 38-yard line. 7:40 left in the football game. Hartford 29, Rutland 12. Kells now wide left. Pump is tight on the right. Couple of setbacks behind McCarthy. The handoff to St. Peter. This time Barassa hit him, and then Bliss and also Leonard Downey there. That time nothing much. He got driven back by those guys, and they had some help. Back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10, Hartford at the Raider 38-yard line.
One of the few times we've seen St. Peter not get a big gain when he touched the football, and gang tackled there for no gain on the play by the Rutland defense.
Coming down on 7 minutes left in the football game. We got an injured player, Hartford. He's going to be okay, but he's limping off the Hurricanes' Seamus Morrissey. He did come off the field under his own power. Hurricanes picked up all those first downs. I believe it was 4 first downs in their first series, and really have never looked back. Raiders did cut it to 2 points a couple of times. Ryan McCarthy, the Hartford quarterback's gone all the way. Handoff to St. Peter, straight ahead. Punches his way down to the 35, picks up about 3. Will be 3rd and 7. Downey and Barassa there on the stop. Frank Parisi was over there as well. But slow getting up. St. Peter does get up.
Well, for what it's worth, the Rutland defense is keyed, and probably as a result of some adjustments in halftime by Coach Norman, they've keyed against the run. They've done a much better job stopping the run here in the second half, and for the most part, somewhat contained St. Peter.
3rd and 7 for Hartford, the Raider 35-yard line. McCarthy pitches it back to St. Peter, sweeps it left to the 30, and he gets his way down to about the 27, penalty marker down. Picked up 8, Conway on the stop. We'll see what the penalty marker's all about. And that is a clip, I believe, against Hartford, so that'll be wiped off the board. So it'll be from the point of infraction, negate the first down pickup, and see where they mark it here. It is from the point of infraction, and they will mark it back to the Raider 43-yard line. Key 3rd down. Looks to be about 3rd and 14 for the Hurricanes. Kells comes out, back into the ball game, Jason Gardner. Mike Stone playing a lot of people, too. It looks like he's got a lot of depth. Certainly appropriate for Division I, which is the fundamental difference between divisions, as we all know. Ryan McCarthy looking to throw, drops it back, looking, shoots it long. He wanted Gardner, and it goes incomplete. Threw it behind him, down around the Raiders' 17. Covered by Pat Dwyer down there.
There's an injured Hartford player in the backfield also, number 5.
That is
Ryan McCarthy, the quarterback.
He is squirming on the 50-yard line, and hopefully he'll be okay. And they are coming out to administer to him. It'll be 4th down and about 14 when play is back in for the Hurricanes at the Raider 43-yard line. 5:32 left in the ball game. 29-12 Hartford. McCarthy will come limping to the sideline here, but he is walking on his own power.
Grabbing his right knee, maybe twisted it just a little bit. He's walking under his own power. He appears to be okay. And
TJ Kendrick is the quarterback. He comes in now. For McCarthy as they will go for it, 4-down territory, 4th down and 14 for the Hurricanes, the Raider 43. Kendrick fumbles the snap, and it's finally picked up by Jason Hill, and he's going to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage before he's stacked up, so the Raiders take over on downs, 1st and 10 at their own 43-yard line.
Well, big break for the Raiders that time. McCarthy comes out. He was injured. Kendrick comes in the first time he touches the football this evening and fumbles it away on a 4th down play. So now the Raiders will take over in relatively good field goal position, looking to at least get one more score on the board here before this game is over.
Parisi on the tackle. So it's 1st and 10 for the Raiders. They take over on downs. 1st and 10, their own 43-yard line. 5:27 left in the ball game, and Hartford leads it 29-12. The Raiders have some work to do. Stempeck goes wide right. McIntyre wide left. Bliss is tight right. Caro and McFerrin are the setbacks behind the quarterback, Brian Pinney. On 1st down, Pinney drops it straight back to throw. Throws over the middle, wide open, complete to Bliss inside the 45, and Bliss is down at the Hartford 43-yard line. Picked up 14. Brent Bliss wide open. Brian Pinney hooked up with him just over the middle. And it's a Raider 1st down. 1st and 10 at the Hartford 43. Finally tackled by Prashawn Patko.
And that time Bliss watched the football into his hands. He's had a few difficulties this evening bringing the ball into his body. That time he did a nice job going into the middle of the football field, setting up, turning, and facing Pinney, who hit him with a bullet, and a big pickup that time for the Raiders.
Less than 5 minutes remaining in the football game now. Raiders have it between the hash marks as Pinney barks him out. McIntyre wide left, Pinney back to throw, rolls right, avoids one man, looks, shoots it down the field. It is complete to Bliss. No. Did he make the catch? He made the catch, but is he in bounds? It is incomplete. He apparently caught it out of bounds down around the Hartford 27-yard line. Nice catch by Bliss, but he was out of bounds, so it goes incomplete. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders at the Hartford 43. At least it appeared to me that he made the catch. Of course, it was across the way from us, but apparently made the catch out of bounds. Clock stops with 4:37 left in the ball game.
Well, Rutland's got that ability with receivers like McIntyre, Bliss, and the like. Offensively for them, it's just a little late in the ball game, and that's what they're left with, option-wise, is to throw the football out to try to narrow this lead.
So 2nd and 10 for the Raiders at the Hartford 43. Hand off to Vaccaro, and he gets tripped up as he takes it straight ahead down at the Hartford 41-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Raiders, the Hartford 41. Left side of the Hartford defensive unit making the play on that. Frankie Vaccaro. Rossa leads him out, 5'11", 205-pound senior center. Raider quad captain. McIntyre wide left. Again, a couple of setbacks. Pinney on 3rd down. In motion, Stempeck now. He was wide right. He goes right to left. Pinney back to throw, rolls left, looking, shoots it down the middle, complete to Bliss at the 30, and Bliss down at the Hartford 27. A pickup of 14, a Raider 1st down as Pinney and Bliss hook up again. Jason Gardner on the stop for Hartford, but the Raiders have to hurry. 3:47 left in the football game, 29-12 Hartford.
Well, the good news is we're seeing the ability of Brian Pinney to complete passes while moving around in the pocket. And again, Brent Bliss with 2-3 completions in a row. One, of course, was whistled out of bounds, but that shows you the hands that he's got, able to bring the football in. And the passing game looking a little sharper now for the Raiders.
Looks like John Watson in the backfield now. Pinney looking to throw, rolls right, throws, and it goes incomplete. He threw it behind Ben Anderson and around the Hartford 21-yard line.
Nearly picked off as the Hartford defender had a better shot at it than Anderson did for Rutland as he was coming back towards the football, and Pinney threw it towards the center of the field. And Anderson reached back across his body and I think deflected it just enough to keep the ball from being intercepted by Hartford.
2nd and 10 Raiders, the Hartford 27-yard line. Clock stops with 3:23 left in the ball game. 29-12 Hartford. Mark it at the left side hash mark. McIntyre wide right. It's Vaccaro and Watson the setback. Stempeck is wide left as Penny marks him out on 2nd down. Penny drops it straight back, looking to throw. Rolls left. He's going to keep. Gets it to the 25. Cuts it inside at the 20 and down at the Hartford 19-yard line. Coming over there to make the hard hit on him was Seamus Morrissey. And the Raiders now call for the timeout. Got down to the 19. He picked up 8. It'll be 3rd down and about 1. And here is the timeout. They're going to mark it at the 20. Raiders for the timeout. 3rd and 1 at the Hartford 20. Timeout on the field. 3:09 left in the football game. Hartford 29, Rutland 12. The Raiders to the Hartford 20. 3:09 left in the football game. The Hartford Hurricanes leading the Rutland High Red Raiders by a score of 29-12. Big crowd here at Alumni Field tonight as night football returns after a 1-year hiatus. McIntyre goes wide right. Stempeck now shifting. Watson of the setbacks. Conway's in motion left to right, and we got penalty markers down. Jacob Conway was set up on the left side.
Someone from Hartford jumped offside.
Yeah, apparently it'll give the Raiders a 1st down. It is offside Hartford. Raiders get the 1st down at the 15-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Raiders, the Hartford 15. 3:09 left in the ball game.
Well, at this stage in the game, Rutland definitely needs to punch this one into the end zone to at least say to themselves that they're capable of scoring against a very stingy Hartford defense. And certainly that would give them some momentum going into next week's ball game.
All right, Vitiliano is in. He's a wing left. Mark it at the left side hash mark. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Vitiliano is in motion left to right now. Back to throw. Penny rolls right. Looking. Slips. Loses the football. Pounces on the football at the 20. It loses 5, and the Raiders will have it 2nd and 15. For just a moment, as I looked across, McIntyre was open in the end zone. Penny didn't see him and then tried to look against the grain. And with 2:50 left in the ball game, we got a timeout. Raiders 29-12 Hartford. We'll be back after this 30-second break. Hartford at 20-yard line with 2:50 left in the football game, and Hartford has a 29-12 lead. The Raiders at one time trailed 8-6 and 14-12, but have been unable to get any closer than that. New Raider player, Aaron Carbonneau is in. He's wide left. Barrett Vargas, transfer from MSJ, is into the ball game too. Denny Stoll at quarterback, couple of setbacks. And he went to the 2nd man and crunched under at the 20-yard line. On the carry was John Watson.
Taken down on the play by Courtney Forrest Crump.
I like that.
You like that one? The first Bermanism of the year, Jack. Courtney Forrest Crump.
The people over listening on WTSL, don't go diving into the Connecticut River now after that one. 3rd and 15 for the Raiders at the Hartford 20-yard line. 2:09 left in the football game. Penny on the handoff straight ahead, cracking his way down to the 16-yard line before he's finally tripped up.
Jason Schmidt, number 45.
Yep, on the carry, Jason Schmidt was into the ball game. Picked up 4. It'll be 4th down and 11. Minute 44 running left in the ball game. Hartford has a 29-12 lead. Raiders will try to regroup a week from tonight against Brattleboro. We'll have it for you beginning at 7:15. That's on WSYB in Rutland, MSJ in Middlebury. Coming up tomorrow afternoon. George Aspinwall is in at center. He's over the football. 4th down play for Brian Penny and company, and we got a timeout on the field, so another Raider timeout. They'll have it 4th down and 11. at the Hartford 16 timeout with 1:20 left in the ball game. Hartford, well, as Mike Norman putting some of the other ball players in here tonight. Luke Wortman is another transfer from MSJ. He and Barrett Vargas. Bliss is in. He's wide right. John Haynes is wide left. Also into the ball game is Seth Bailey. Fourth down for Finney and company. 4th and 11 at the Hartford 16. Finney drops it straight back, looking to throw, pumps once, rolls right, still looking, fires toward the end zone. It's tipped and it goes incomplete. And it was tipped by Jason Hill. Had a chance to pick it off. It looked like the intended receiver. There were a few people in the end zone, but Seth Bailey looked like he was the intended receiver, and it will be 1st and 10 Hartford. The Hurricanes take over on downs. Hurricanes have it at their own 16. Good news for Hartford fans listening in. Ryan McCarthy is okay. He'll be back in at quarterback. He was injured earlier. He came limping off the field. Hartford will just let it wind down here. The Hartford Hurricanes have been very impressive in this ball game tonight, scoring on their first drive and a 4th and 1 in their own territory. Went for it, eventually cashed in. Less than a minute left as Hartford right on the verge of its 27th consecutive victory. And McCarthy drops back a couple of steps and then puts his knee down. Back at the 13, lost 3. It'll be 2nd down and about 13. And they're going to let, he'll probably do that one more time here. Less than 40 seconds remaining in the ball game.
Well, an impressive outing and Division I debut for the Hartford Hurricanes. And somewhat discouraging home opener for the Rutland Raiders, but I'm sure they're going to go back to the drawing board, and they'll be back this year, folks.
McCarthy barks him out. Ryan McCarthy for the Hartford Hurricanes. Be looking at the clock and then step back and undoubtedly touch his knee down again here. And at this time he takes the penalty. 7 seconds left. So they'll probably do it one more time. Mark back 5 yards. Delay of game against Hartford. The Hartford Hurricanes going to win this ball game. Their 27th straight victory. A very impressive winning streak. They were very impressive tonight in their debut in Division I. They have it back at their own 7-yard line now. 2nd down and 18. 6 seconds left. Gardner way back at the goal line just in case. And McCarthy puts his knee down, and that should do it. 2 seconds left, and Hartford has won it. Hartford winning its debut in Division I after 4 straight Division I-A state titles. Hartford now has won 27 consecutive ball games. Very impressive indeed in this opener tonight at Rutland High's Alumni Field. The Hartford Hurricanes have defeated the Rutland High Red Raiders. The final score, Hartford 29 and Rutland 12. Will be back to wrap it up in a couple.